chefs say. Did you know that in 1/2 cup serving of this beef soup, there's almost a whole teaspoon of salt? That's way too much. And that's because manufacturers use an intense salt called MSG. Yes, it does add flavor, but at what cost to your health? I've developed a hearty beef and vegetable soup with barley that's sure to please everyone in your family. Join me in the kitchen and see how it's done. To start our beef barley soup, what I've done is in this little saucepan, I have 3 cups of water, a few pieces of vegetable, carrot, and onion that come from the vegetables that go in the stew, as well as some barley. So this cooks for about 20 minutes. Now let's talk about the meat. I'm using top round. I learned how to cut it so that it cooks really fast and I have that great beef flavor. So I've cut my beef into about 1-inch strips like this. Now I'm gonna cut this strip into about 3 cubes. And here's the trick. See how the grain of the meat is running this way? I'm gonna cut across the grain so that the fibers in the meat end up being smaller and therefore more tender. So I'm gonna cut this cube across the grain in nice thin slices like that, and then these are gonna cook a lot faster than at, say, for example, if we cubed our meat. Really important that you get your pan super hot so you can sear the beef nicely. So the oil is smoking hot, in goes the meat, and that's the sound you should hear. So again, I'm only gonna do about half of this. I'm gonna let it sit. I know it's tempting to stir this. Just let it sear. I want to get a really nice flavoring coating on this. About 1.5 minutes has passed. So now I'm just going to give it a quick stir and now let it sit and sear it again. No stirring. And we're just going to continue to do this until the beef is dark brown but not burned on the outside. All right, this is what your beef should look like. It should have these nice colored parts on here and be really fragrant. So we're going to just set this aside in another bowl and repeat with the remaining meat. Ooh, that's hot. Now that our beef is all nicely seared, we're going to start with our aromatics. So we're going to add maybe just a little bit more olive oil to the pan. We've got all these really nice brown bits at the bottom. So in goes our garlic. There we go. And then we're going to add onion. Now the carrots go in. The celery. Back in goes our meat. Then I'm going to add a little bit of fresh thyme. And so now we're just going to let this saute for about 5 to 10 minutes. I'm going to put in a little bit of tomato paste. And now, because I'm going to want our stew to be a little bit thick and not too runny, I'm going to add a little bit of flour, just a couple tablespoons over the top, and cook this in. Again, we're trying to get rid of that raw taste of the flour. But be careful because we're cooking on medium-high heat here. You don't want the flour to burn. Now we can go ahead and add our white wine. So what this is going to do is, again, add another depth of flavor to the dish. It's also going to help to deglaze the pan because we've got all those yummy bits that equal flavor stuck on the bottom of the pan. And then let the wine reduce all the way so it's nice and concentrated. Time for the rest of our water here. There we go. And then we're going to add in our barley, which has been cooking over here on the side. Add that in. And then because I want to kick up the beefiness of the stew, I'm going to add a little bit of soy sauce. That's going to help give it a nice depth of flavor. So all we're going to do is bring this to a boil, cover it, and cook it for 30 minutes. It smells so savory in here. It's filling the whole house with great aromas. So now I'm going to add my shiitake. So we're just going to put those in. And then I'm going to leave the cover off, and I want to turn up the heat and cook it for another 15 minutes until everything is done. So we'll go another 15 minutes, and then we get to eat. Our soup is finally finished cooking. It smells so wonderful. I want you to take a look at it. With all these hearty vegetables and big chunks of meat, this is so much more satisfying than the kind that comes in a can. And would you believe that there's 1/3 less salt in one serving? So it's going to be a great wintertime meal that's going to make everybody happy. Please join me in skipping the can and making it from scratch. Happy and healthy eating.